Hey guys, how you doing? This is OB Transport Guy coming to you real quick with a quick, hopefully encouraging message to you. So I've had a few days where I've thought that I've gotten clients that I converted. I put out my information, gave them the exact thing of what I do and why I do it and things of that case. And then, of course, you give them your business card after you give them all the information, and I've had real good days where, the message is clear. I'm not trying to get anything out of them, like trying to rip them off or anything. And we're dialoguing really, really good. Now, I'm not talking about somebody that you can kind of tell it's more of, well, I'll think about it. It's somebody that you're dialoguing really good with, and everything seems to be going well. You give them a business card and say, hey, I got such and such appointment. I'm going to call you up. I need, they give you all the good vibes. You don't see anything about it, that sort of thing. And then, of course, a week goes by, 2 weeks go by, 3 weeks go by, or whatever. You don't hear anything else from them. This happens, unfortunately, a lot. There's a good friend of mine that I listen to quite a bit, where he said it took him right at about a year before he even sold anything. And then when he finally sold, that launched what he needed. But he went through a lot of trial and error. So this is what I understand from how this works. Basically, for him to sell the way he needed to sell, he needed to have a lot of ups and downs. Why? So that he can improve on what he does, how he's doing it. Maybe it could be how he was selling. Perhaps maybe timing is everything. Maybe the right type of clients. That's a real big thing too, especially in this line of work of transportation. Now here's the thing. Transportation is huge. It is very huge. You're providing a service, right? And everybody at some point, whether they're rich or poor or in between, is going to need transportation, whether it's goods or service, or they themselves need to be taken somewhere. That's just the way of the world. You know what I'm saying? As we speed up, as technology gets better, as we acquire more fuel-efficient vehicles, whatever that looks like, the process gets really, really better and better. So there really is no excuse in terms of transportation. Transportation isn't going anywhere. And I know they say, well, AI is coming, automated drivers are coming, stuff like that. And that could sound a bit scary. They can take our jobs. I've looked at some of the statistics on that. And while I believe maybe Midwest has more of the automation stuff, with the way that it's going, in this generation that we live in, a lot of people are not looking forward to that. You know what I'm saying? They're not. I would say, especially the area that I work at, the clientele there prefers a human driver, just because you hear all the bad stories about automation and stuff like that. Even if that's the case, as a business entrepreneur such as myself, let's just say it comes to that, and eventually it probably will. Well, if I got my own business, what do you think I'm going to do? No matter how much automation drivers you have, you still got to have somebody to run the business, right? So why not create your own business anyway? And if that's something you have to lean forward and go to, then you do. That just means you have a business that's over automation, right? So no matter how much they tell you they're going to take the human element out of it, you really can't. Not for something like that. And then your clients is what's really important. That's why I say serving your clients is absolutely key, because those are the ones that will keep you, and then word of mouth really goes a long way. So as far as the automation goes, don't let that scare you. And sometimes the market may be good for that. But here in Texas, the market is not good for that for a whole list of reasons. Each area of Texas is huge, wide, and in between. You know what I'm saying? So Don't let that scare you at all, because it's nothing to be afraid of at all. So let that kind of sink in. Now, just kind of getting back, to my story. So I had a couple of clients that kind of, potential clients that everything went really well. And the conversation was good, like I was saying before. But again, they never reached out back at me. And it seems like there was a pattern of this happening. Like I would get more rejections, or more of they'll get back to me type of scenarios. They may not necessarily say that, but that's kind of what it comes down to, But what I start doing, one of the things I start doing is listen to more motivation on terms of, obviously not giving up, but continuing to push on in the area of what you're doing, right? Meaning, hey, these things are going to happen, but you keep going on. There's a saying that I hear from a lot of big-time entrepreneurs, 10X it, meaning you push your business even further. Even if you're not there where you want to be at, you double and triple on what you're doing. You improve it to the utmost level. So that means that cutting away from mediocre things and focus on your business. So in my case, like I have business cards that I use, right? These bad boys. And so I make sure I have enough of them, and I get a whole lot of them. Why? Because I'm going to put them out there no matter what. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, not only am I going to do that, even more so, I'm going to make sure every particular person, and I look at where I'm picking up at. So in this case, where I live at, there's certain key areas that's well to do, right? I look at the condition, the situation they may be in, if they need help, whatever the case is, or airport runs, or some type of client type of deal. And I can kind of tell based on what information is passed on through me, usually through Uber or Lyft. I can kind of tell the type of clientele I get, especially if it's reservation airport runs. Those are my go-to, because everybody's traveling. The job market now requires people to travel quite a bit. You know what I'm saying? So what better way to do that than that, And so having the proper setup, and if they're eyeball, or for example, a few things that I can tell that hey, let me try this individual. They're looking around. They're asking, hey, you got a nice setup. Hey, this is very comfortable. Hey, I like your screen up here. Hey, it smells real good in here. Hey, man, this is comfortable. Hey, I like this massage seat. Any of those areas is enough for me to be like, okay, let me go ahead and talk to this individual. You know what I'm saying? And even if they don't, it's okay. Because think about it. Me driving, on an average day, maybe 5 days out the week, I'm probably driving 10, maybe anywhere from 5 to maybe 12 people a day. You know what I'm saying? So just imagine now, let's just say that you have, let's just say 10 people a day, 5 days out the week. Just a tenth of that, that's a client. Somewhere in there in between. Now, not everybody has rejected me, but just like if you guys saw one of my videos from last time, there's a gentleman, 4 or 5 months ago, I totally, completely forgot. He called me, he kept up with my card, I ended up picking him up, and that was a gentleman that I totally forgot. So the good part about that is get as many clients as you can. And don't worry about being overwhelmed. Being overwhelmed is a good thing. Because trust me, people are going to want to work. I promise you, that's a good thing to have. Well, what happens if there's so many people? What happens if there's no people? Get as many clients you can. You'll work out a schedule. People want to get to where they want to get to. They need service. They need reliability. You can provide that because of what you show. So, my vehicle is my office, right? So everything that you see in here, at least from the back standpoint, is, hey, this guy's got it going on. You know what I'm saying? So right from the start, they can already tell that I'm in this profession and obviously I'm good at it, right? So if that is the case, then hey, you know what? Let's roll with this. You know what I'm saying? God dog it. And anyway, so yeah, sorry about that. Had a little camera kind of dropped on me there, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, just roll with that, right? So when we roll with that, that's what we can do. So they, like I said, they see my office, my vehicle. They see everything. They compliment me, and it makes an opportunity. And that's exactly why I designed it, not for just because of it looks good and there is conveniency for them and stuff, but also to showcase what I do too as well. Because people won't be convinced unless they see what you offer. And that's the very thing that I use, you know what I'm saying? So I don't mind, investing in a little bit, a piece of this, a little bit, a piece of that. I had mentioned you guys, I got a $9 step stool, right? A $9 step stool, potentially will earn me a little bit more, because it shows that, hey, I'm thinking about the individual that may have a hard time stepping up. You know what I'm saying? And went out the way to do that, especially if you go and you get it and you place it. So now it's serving mind. You think about an individual, it's serving mind, you're meeting a need. You see how all that works? So you have to plan strategically. You know what I'm saying? What's your client that you're serving? Meet the needs where they're at. And when you begin to explain that and they see that, that's how you win. And that's the reason why I say, there was time like I was getting a little bit down about it. But at the end of the day, I was, after hearing some encouraging words, getting motivation from other people, that's why I say it helps to have mentors. You know what I'm saying? It really does, to steer you back. But it's like, dude, what's I was saying, you're not rich yet, but you will be, but you didn't get that when you started. You know what I'm saying? Generating and growing a business, it does take a little time, because you're focusing on your resources that you provide, right? So you'll get there, but you're gonna have to work at it. But you put in the work now, and you invest into yourself now, and you get there if you don't give up. One of the things that you got going, whatever is working for you, you continue to do it and you build on that, right? And so that's what I do. So I pass the cards out, they see, they compliment. And just remember that even if I drive out the week and I drive for 10 people, one of those is potentially is going to give me their business. You know what I'm saying? So that's 10% out of one, right? I'm sorry, 1 out of 10 is going to get that. You know what I'm saying? So that's just for that small number. Just imagine if I'm doing that 5, 10, or in your case, the amount of clients you get. You know what I'm saying? Let's say you see 20 clients, and 10% of that you get the business from, or they're thinking about it. And even if they don't, you continue to work at what you work at. You know what I'm saying? And eventually you get there. You work at something long enough and hard enough, and you know that it works, you should consider doing it. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully that encourages you, and hopefully that helps. Because again, I know what it's like to have disappointments, but I know, what am I going to really solve just sitting back and pouting? Nothing's going to happen, right? Unless I do something about it and continue, pass out my information, continue to drive, eventually you're going to convert. And all it takes is that one person to give you that call, and that fills you with energy. You know what I'm saying? You're fumbling all over the place. I remember when I initially got my first call with a client, man, I was like doing all of this. I was like, hey, how I was excited, because it fills you, and that's good motivation. Getting that first client gives you that energy you need. And when you do that, man, that's much you gain from that. So this is OV Transport Guy, just giving you guys the information, giving you guys a heads up, and I hope this helps. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye for now.